What's good, y'all? The Toronto Raptors just whooped ass. The Toronto Raptors absolutely destroyed the Sacramento Kings. Brandon Ingram looked like a superstar. RJ Barrett had good moments. Emmanuel quickly still looks lost. And Colin Murray Boyles making a case, making a really solid case for how more minutes might, might result in some rookie of the year buzz for Colin Murray Boyles. I think he played great defensively. The crazy thing about this game, for me at least, was that the Raptors didn't play that well. It's not like they played crazy. They made their shots. It's so interesting how much room for growth this team actually has. If they figure out their roles, if things settle down, big game for Grady, big game for Jacoby Walter. Really impressive moments for Jonathan Mobo, some bad moments for Jonathan Mobo as well. Some good moments for RJ, some bad moments for RJ. Nothing but greatness from the two players that you added that are the most significant additions to this team, which in my opinion are Brandon Ingram and Sandro Mamukelashvili, both of whom just dominated the shit out of their minutes. We got a chance at the end of the game to see the, let's say, the bench mob. Sorry, not the bench mob, the third stringers. That sucked a lot. You know, the third stringers actually gave up what was effectively going to be a 30-point blowout and made it kind of close, a little too close for comfort. Elijah Martin looked lost. Chucky Hepburn continues to impress. Those are my very brief, very quick overviews for those people who want to watch this in like 5 minutes. To sum this up, Brandon Ingram, awesome. Everybody else, promising, but Colin Murray Boyles, we'll talk about all of it. We'll do the film breakdown. We will talk about this game in depth. Tomorrow, at some point tomorrow, I will break down some Brandon Ingram film. It's really difficult for me to take anything you do against this team, the Sacramento Kings, as gospel. Like, this is not a good team. This is not going to be a good team. This is not a team that played well. But in the rhythm of playing against a team that's not good, you also have to factor in that you are without two starters against a team that is basically healthy. And Scottie Barnes did not play tonight. Rest. I'm expecting that hand is an issue right now for him. And they figured, hey, what's the point? It's preseason. We got this. It looked really good, man. It looked really good. Some of the screen setting was really good. I liked a lot of the ball movement tonight. The ball found the guys that it needed to find. Ingram just came out and set the tone for this team. Like, it was just impressive. Like, what Brandon Ingram is able to do to settle down an offense that doesn't really make a lot of sense right now. And he's just able to say, okay, I understand that everyone may not be exactly where they're supposed to be, but give me the ball and I'm just going to make something out of nothing. Okay. Tyler Young saying, how did Reynaud look? I watched Maxime Reynaud for a long time. Nothing that I'm going to see in preseason is going to move me off of Maxime Reynaud, but Reynaud looked fine. Elijah Martin had a moment there towards the end where he cuts, he gets a back cut, he gets a dunk, and then he hits an open three. So maybe, you know, if you don't watch the game very closely, you were kind of browsing your phone, you'd be like, oh, well, you know, 5 points for the Rook. He had a tough fourth quarter, man. That was really difficult. He didn't know what to do with the basketball. He had a turnover in the backcourt, trying to bring the ball up the court, turnover on the inbound play, not even close, just not a point guard. And, you know, it's kind of like you balance it out, right? Fred VanVleet, you found him in the undrafted heap. Chucky Hepburn, you found him in the undrafted heap. 2 years from now, it might be Chucky Hepburn who's still on this team. I don't know. Nice one saying Chucky was solid. He builds that a lot. I completely agree. Let's take a look really quickly at the box score, and then we'll do a little bit of film breakdown. It's not going to be a lot of Brandon Ingram isolation possessions. There's plenty of time between today and Friday's game to break down what Brandon Ingram was able to do. I want to more focus in on some of the stuff that maybe you're not going to see in the highlights, and that's what I want to do with the film breakdown. But in terms of the Toronto Raptors, a sight for sore eyes. 54% from three. They could not miss. RJ Barrett makes 3 threes. Grady Dick made some threes. Jacoby Walter hitting step back threes over DeMar DeRozan. You got it. Brandon Ingram couldn't miss from three. Everybody was piling on the threes. The Raptors, of course, led by Brandon Ingram tonight with 21 points. He did not break a sweat. It was so easy for him to score against this team. 7 for 15, honestly, like whatever. RJ Barrett, a plus 18, team leading plus 18. Very, very good moments. Some bad moments too. So we'll talk about the good and the bad. The good is I liked a lot of the shots that he took. He took them in rhythm. He made 4 out of 6 threes, four out of 6 free throws. We need to figure this out at some point, right? Like last year, the year before, we've had some free throw regression from RJ Barrett. And for a guy who often gets to the line with the intention of getting fouled, I think just making his free throws at a 75% clip would go so long for him. In the second half, we saw a little bit of point RJ, which I also really liked. I really didn't mind those possessions. It was decent. And I liked anything that brought Emmanuel Quickley off the ball because I really thought Emmanuel Quickley sucked today. And I'm putting that lightly. I thought he was horrible. Jonathan Mobo, he starts the first half, didn't start the second half. One of the few Raptors that is a -2. Hard to do, but he was on the court for some epic meltdowns. Doesn't mean he didn't play that well because he had some very good moments and he also has some very bad moments. The good moments, the isolation possession, we're going to break down later. Almost 20 seconds of just great defense. Offensively, really tough, man. Back-to-back now nights he's had behemoths to deal with in the post. The last game, Scottie was there to shield him from some of the, Jokic stuff. This game, he had to deal with Domas, and that was tough. And probably, if the Raptors were being smart about it, they would have started Colin Murray-Boyles because he's a much, much better player for that matchup. Speaking of, Colin Murray-Boyles off the bench, he was on triple-double watch, 12.7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks, including an incredible block, which we'll take a look at, where he blocked a 3-pointer from Malik Monk. I thought he was awesome, man. He was just so good. Everything was easy. Everything was slow. Everything was in rhythm. He's a 20-year-old. Like, this 20 going on 21, 20-ish. Like, he's about to turn 21. He is so – the game has slowed down for him already. And you wonder, have you really found Draymond Green here? Like, have you really found that type of power forward, defensive anchor, and long-term – I agree with anybody who's saying he's probably going to start on this team. He is probably going to start on this team. At some point when the Raptors trade one of their backcourt players, they're going to shuffle Scottie back to the shooting guard, a much better position for him, and move Colin Murray-Boyles into that center spot, especially if he's going to be willing to take threes. He passed up one, which I didn't like, but the one that he took, every three he's taken in preseason so far looks comfortable and very good. Sandro Mamukelashvili, not as flashy a game as last game, not as flashy as the inter-squad scrimmage, not a lot of points. He was just awesome. I don't know what to tell you, but his 5 points and 5 rebounds don't matter to me. He just made the right read all the time, attacked the defense, got a crazy and one, didn't make the free throw, doesn't matter. None of this stuff matters to me. Jacoby Walter, the hustle, the grind, the shot making, the tenacity. I'm not saying he had a perfect game, but he was the starter to start the, in place of Ochai Agbaji to begin the second half. And he really, he was impressive tonight. Grady Dick, 6 for 7 from the field. Ain't that a sight for sore eyes? He had a really rough game last time. I like the compete level a little bit better defensively from him. I thought that was great too. In terms of Jamal Shed, he got 2 shots. So he made 3 field goals tonight. 2 of them were that little push shot floater that he's got. And I'm just thinking to myself, with how explosive he is as an athlete, right? He's absolutely unstoppable there. I think that is a great place for him. And that shot should become a bread and butter shot for him. As an undersized guard, you got to have a floater. Tony Parker had a floater. Rajon Rondo had a floater. Undersized guards have to have floaters. And he has that sort of push shot floater. I like it. It's a shot that works for him. Clearly something he's worked on. It's something that he did a lot at Houston. I like that shot for him. In terms of anybody else that really sticks out off the bench before we get to this film breakdown, not really. I'll give 2 salutes, 2 kind of unconventional, you may not have noticed it if you weren't looking for it, salutes. Number 1 is Chucky Hepburn. As much as you want to say Colin Murray-Boyles has like magneto hands or whatever you want to say, like, he has magnets in his hands, Chucky Hepburn is like a little version of that too. Like, he is so tenacious into the ball. He's consistently forcing mistakes. Defenders, like offensive players, really just don't know what to do when they have him on him. And he's very pesky. So clearly, a lot of that Fred VanVleet stuff that you're talking about, like that's Chucky Hepburn in a nutshell. If he can ever hit his three consistently, he hit one tonight, he took three. If he can ever hit his three consistently, I think you have found your third string point guard. And I'm not kidding. You know, when we were on the draft live show, I remember asking my co-host Erson, you know, right after, I didn't watch a ton of Chucky Hepburn last year. And be honest, like I didn't watch a lot of him last year. I watched a little bit of him the previous year, but I didn't watch a lot of him last year. He wasn't on my top 63 on my draft board. And I asked him a question. I said, "Now the draft is over, who are you calling?" And his first statement was Chuck Hepburn. And I was like, if Erson says it, I gotta believe this is something. And so far, from everything I've seen from the scrimmage, last game, this game, Chucky Hepburn for me makes this team no matter what. SP saying, is Chucky our Keon Ellis? Let's simmer down there. Keon is like 6'4.5", 6'5" with crazy wingspan. If Chucky Hepburn was 6'5", he might have been a lottery pick. So, you know, he's still an undersized guard, but he has point guard instincts, which is all I need for my undersized guard. Tenacious, make threes, have point guard instincts. I think the team looked very settled down with Jamal Shead on the court. I don't think the team looked that settled down with Emmanuel Quickly on the court. He rushed a lot of shots. He made a lot of silly mistakes. To me, this is a game that is just, I hate to talk about negatives in this game, but some of the paint finishing for RJ Barrett, the shot selection for Emmanuel Quickly, early on some decision making from Elijah Martin. Those are my only drawbacks in this game. The other thing that you may have missed if you weren't really paying attention to it was Brandon Ingram's defense. I really liked his defensive effort, his ability to just pick up higher. The Raptors are asking him to guard, but they're also asking them to bail everyone out on offense. And he is participating really well. I love the fact that he took 15 shots and 7 of them were threes tonight. That's not normal for BI. Like if he plays 23 minutes and he takes 15 shots, you'd be lucky to get 3 3-pointers attempted out of him. So the fact that he's willing to take those shots is very important for your spacing. Very important. So yeah, let's get to the film breakdown, man. Like I think this is a very interesting game to look at some stuff in terms of film breakdown here. One sec. Stop screen share. Also, we'll give a shout out to my guy, Mike Roach. You guys remember Mike Roach. We did a podcast together. He works for the Raptors, has worked for the Raptors for a very long time. Shout out to Mike. I did a podcast with him today in which I said, this is a playoff team. And I discussed the starters, namely Scottie, Ingram, RJ, IQ, and how they all fit together. And some of my thoughts on that. You can definitely go check that video out on Mike's podcast. Okay, let's get to some film stuff. Okay, so here, I'm going to make myself small. Also, the call-in link is in the description. If you would like to call in and talk about this game at all, if there's something that you observe that you want to talk about, definitely give us a call. Okay, so let's start out with this play. So here, Ingram makes this knife down the middle, beats Zach LaVine, draws 3 defenders, gives RJ the cleanest look. You just need to make this, man. You can't be soft. If you know that that defender is coming, you can go up and reverse it. There's just no rim protection for this team at all. There's not a single rim protector on the court right now. Keegan Murray is a solid defender. Dennis Schroder is an okay defender. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan are pylons. There's no reason this team should block your shot. There's no reason this team should have had a block party at the Raptors' expense other than the Raptors driving into contested paint, loading up, and just making really dumb decisions. So here we're going to have transition. And once again, it was just like that Scottie play last time where Scottie makes a mistake on offense and then follows it up with a defensive mistake. Here, RJ Barrett, you got to be better. You cannot foul a jump shooter, just not even contesting it. You just bump into him. It's just a crazy decision there and a sequence of decisions. Really bad. Okay, speaking of bad decisions, I mean, for a game where we were blowing them out, to focus on 2 negative plays, I think is important because in the context of wins and losses, which I don't care about in preseason, we need to hone in on what's actually happening on the court and what that really means in terms of who these players are and what they've worked on in the offseason. So here, RJ Barrett, good pass from RJ. Decent screen attempt here by Mobo. leaning a little bit, but whatever. He gets away with it. You need to take this shot right here. If you cannot make this shot with this much space, you're not an NBA point guard. You cannot. He sidesteps even more to get an even clearer opening. So, first of all, if we're counting steps here, let's just check that out there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Crazy. Absolutely just an insane look. I've talked about it many times on this channel. He has a flat release. It's a pretty quick release, but it is a rise release. So he releases it on the way up. You've got to trust this shot right here. Boom, turn, one step, shot right there. You cannot waste this screen and then try to sidestep, then get scared because Zach LaVine is coming at you. Like, come on, man. And then throw the ball away. Like, that's just nuts. You got two bad defenders. You've got to be able to manipulate that a little bit better. It's just really, really nuts. Okay. Moving on. Now, here's a really good decision by Jamal Shead. Check this out. So Jamal Shead rolling downhill here has Colin Murray-Boyles. Could make this pass to Colin Murray-Boyles, but with that low man right there, waiting for Colin Murray-Boyles to sort of clear the paint a little bit, makes the read that the defense is not expecting and gets an even better shot. So gives up a decent shot for himself, passes up a maybe harder shot for Colin Murray-Boyles, and gets Jacoby Walter a wide open look here. Now, Jacoby's not going to make this, one of his few misses tonight, but that doesn't matter. Because here, he's going to tip it away, makes a second effort on the ball, shout outs to Jamal Shead, and gets the Raptors another look. That is your 6-foot point guard, and that is an and one. So I just love that play from Jamal Shead, and Jamal Shead continues to inspire so much confidence with his basketball IQ. I just think he's so great with it. Okay, here, Grady Dick makes a quick pass to Jamal Shead. And once again, no need to hold the ball. Look at the defense. 3 defenders have shifted onto 2 defenders. That means somebody's open. Mamu's not open. Jacoby's not open. CMB is open. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out, man. Boom. Here. Great. Perfect. Just perfect basketball. This is funny. Let's take a look at this. This is from Brick Center. Sorry to interrupt your Toronto Raptors content with a little bit of Ace Bailey hate, but this is just funny.
Statement to the young fella.
So KD will walk his way to the free throw line. The Rockets are excited.
Okay, so KD talking a little bit of shit to Ace Bailey. Said, you new here. You new here, boy. Who you ass talking? Sit your ass down. Oh man, KD, that's funny. Okay. Now, 0.5 basketball. I like this. And again, this is not Emmanuel Quickley shade. Okay. Let me just be clear when I say this. This is not Emmanuel Quickley shade. But I prefer RJ Barrett dribbling the basketball up the court as the first decision maker. Just out there. Boom. Right? You got numbers. Who's the right pass? Quickley. Perfect. Now, Grady, remember the last play? We looked at it the previous game where Grady cut too early on a Mobo drive. Here, they paced this out correctly. They finally figured this out. And here, Grady takes about turn to go behind the defense. The defender doesn't see him. And here, this is how that play with Mobo should have gone. Perfect. Okay. All right. Move on from that. I love this play. Now, the Toronto Raptors really pride themselves on everybody is a good decision maker, from Colin Murray-Boyles to Jonathan Mobo to Jakob Poeltl to Sandro Mamukelashvili. You don't have a deficient playmaker on this team right now. And I love that, because openings like this where Grady is going to cut are not going to go unrewarded as they've often gone in the past. Here, quick decisions between 2 of your worst passers, quite frankly. And here, Jonathan Mobo sees a little bit of an opening here. He's going to dribble left to manipulate the defense a little bit here. A little bit of dribble manipulation here by Jonathan Mobo. Love it. In order to open that back cut for Grady. And Grady is, of course, one of the best cutters in the NBA, one of the best off-ball movers. Love it. And makes this play. Fast forward a little bit. Go forward, go forward, go forward. And here you see Grady sprinting back, right? Gets back into this, reads this, which I appreciate. This pass from Domas to Zach LaVine is going to get picked off by Grady Dick. Love it. It's a stupid ass pass. Domantas Sabonis just cannot help but turn the ball over a lot against us, but great play. Speaking of, again, I don't want to cover too much of Brandon Ingram because I feel like I'm stepping on what I want to talk about tomorrow a lot. But here is a play from Brandon Ingram that shows you just how effortlessly he is able to score against this Kings defense. They are totally helpless against him. They have nobody. Keegan Murray is behind. Here you have Malik Monk and DeMar DeRozan in the paint. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to laugh. But if I'm Brandon Ingram right now, I'm like, this is a wide open layup for me. These two don't even exist. Okay? Like, my God. Manipulates DeMar, which isn't hard. DeMar tries to defend this very well. But, there's a thing about inches. DeMar ain't got him. Ingram does. 7'4" wingspan and just an easy finish, man. Speaking of DeMar DeRozan, DeMar's not so good, terrible night continues. This time, getting locked up by Colin Murray-Boyles. Watch the technique here. CMB picked him up full court. Now here we get to this play. This is to end the second quarter. Great tone setting, feel good moment going into the half here. Boom. Body up, wall up. That's a dude who has like 30,000 points in the NBA, man. That's a dude who has a lot of points. And for CMB to just be able to wall up as a rookie, move his hips, not get beat, not fall for any of DeMar's little tricks. And DeMar's got a big bag, right? Big bag. And here, DeMar thinks he has space, comes up. Colin Murray-Boyles is like on him like white on rice. I mean, just watch that again. This is such an impressive defensive play. Watch this. Just look, he's so light on the balls of his feet, and he's able to just get low. Look how low he is on this defensive stance here. This is some real Kawhi Leonard type of shit right here. Look at this. Boom. A little bit of handsiness. No problem, no problem, no problem. Not going to get called for it. Keep your body connected, right? But then make this defensive play risky. Reaching across the body is usually very risky. Reaching down is also very risky. But he has such good hands. The ref has no decision but to let this be a clean rip. It is a clean rip. Just so we're clear, this is a clean rip. However, very often when you reach across the body of a dominant offensive player and you are a rookie, you're going to get that foul. You're going to get that foul like 8 out of 10 times. I'm glad they didn't call the foul here because you're rewarding a player who did the work. And so just really, really good play there. Speaking of DeMar DeRozan, I don't know why I clipped so many highlights of DeMar DeRozan just getting owned here, but whew, good luck, Kings. All right, here, Colin Murray-Boyles threatens to set the screen. Jacoby's going to reject it, takes one step back, and beautiful. Beautiful. Just perfect shot. Awesome night for Jacoby Walter. Loved it. Okay. Speaking of cuts and point RJ, here, RJ Barrett running point, which I like. Okay. You want to put the basketball in the hands of a player who can make good decisions with the basketball and has some ability to punish the defense if they don't read his decision well. Now here, CMB is just going to nudge out of the way. And here quickly sets a second screen, which frees RJ for the open drive to the rim. He's got 3 defenders on him, which means he's got a wide open kick out to Brandon Ingram here. And I think he makes the better decision. A little bit off target. Fair where fair is due. If we're going to give RJ credit for making this read, I got to give you your, L for making a pass that's really off target there. But nevertheless, he makes it. Jacoby catches it. Jacoby has good hands, and boom, open layup. There's nothing in basketball that is more effective than an open layup. not free throws, not a three, not a open three, not a corner three, nothing. If everything in your offense can do one thing, it is to generate open free throws. Now, here, Colin Murray-Boyles is going to make a mistake. I believe this is a mistake. He passes up a three to drive into Domantas Sabonis, thinks he can beat him off the dribble. He's not the quickest guy. So Domas beats him to a spot. He forces this sort of awkward finish. And again, there's 6 seconds on the clock. You don't need to force something this awkward at the rim. But granted, I'm fine with it. He's a young player. Does he hang his head? No. He gets back on defense, which I appreciate. Now here, you see that Brandon Ingram kind of shuts down the Malik Monk drive. Ingram should not be able to guard Malik Monk. Malik is very quick, very athletic, but he's trying. He chases him around the screen. He trails. Perfect. Switches his hip. And here, Colin Murray-Boyles is going to try to stop that. Let me just pull that back for 1 sec. Maybe I need to slow this down. 1 second. 1 sec. Because I sped it up. So here. Look at CMB pointing. He's pointing to the shooter. He knows exactly where this is going. And here, he is going to relentlessly pursue this. Look at where he is when Malik Monk has the shot. Just to this is to give you an idea of court coverage. This is all we're talking about when we're talking about court coverage. We are talking about the ability to navigate space, close down space, generate space. With his screen setting, he generates space for his teammates. With his defense, he is taking space away from the offense. And here, this shot that Malik Monk swears is wide open, that he's made a million times before. Look at this. That's a block. That is an insane play. If there is a play of the game, that is the play of the game. Now here, Ingram is going to close out the possession by getting the basketball. And this is what I like about Brandon Ingram. People say, what do you like about Brandon Ingram the most? Yeah, he's super talented. Yeah, he reminds you of KD. He reminds you of Kobe. He's trying hard defensively. He's buying into your principles. He's a really nice guy. All that stuff. He's really selfless. That's the part that I like the most. That Ingram is selfless and that he can read the floor really well. He does not need, he's not even looking up. Just so we're clear, he's not even looking up. He knows exactly where this pass needs to go. This pass needs to go. And look at the, okay, so here's the thing. When I say on time, on target, there's a funny little clip of Swiper where he's getting cooked, ratioed in the comments because he makes this case about like Jokic passed something like in the shooting pocket, and it's like a good 2 feet off the shooting pocket. Here, this is how you throw a transition pitch ahead pass. This is a perfect pass. Watch where it lands. There's no chance of this getting picked off. Look at this pass. Like, dude, again, I'm a nerd. I like to focus on these little things. Boom. This is a talent. Being able to throw this pass is a talent, okay? Being able to throw this pass away from the outstretched arms of a very long, very athletic Malik Monk, may not get a lot of credit as a defender, but he is still a very super athlete. That is a pitch perfect pass. Great pass, great catch, and you know what? Great finish. Malik Monk, you're not stopping that. That is an and one. I love that. I love that play. That was my play of the night. Like, I loved it. The whole thing, from him making a mistake on offense, getting back on defense, from him getting that block, from Ingram making the perfect pitch ahead pass, to him getting the and one. I loved every second of it. This might be a close second for one of my favorite plays of the game. And again, it is defense. It will never make SportsCenter highlights, but I love this play. So here, Jonathan Mobo defensively. Boom. Switch. Okay. First action, tips it away. First thing, boom, tip. We want to start the offense further away, makes a second effort on the basketball. Now makes a third effort on the basketball. This is hell, okay? If you are a hooper, this is the last guy on this team you want guarding you. I say this kindly. Scottie is a great defender. CMB is a great defender. Jakob has his moments. There's a lot of really good defenders. There's nobody that can do what Jonathan Mobo can do out here. Nobody. 28 to 35 feet from the basket. This dude can lock you down, because as much as you want to say about Scottie's length, CMB's switchable hips, being on the balls of his feet, the active hands, the heavy hands, etc., what Jonathan Mobo can do is just, he can make it so that you can't move. He's quicksand, basically. Now, this is not the greatest offensive player. I get that. But we've seen him do this to Tyrese Maxey. We've seen him do this to Ant Edwards. And occasionally, it kind of helps that you have a player who can do stuff like this. And his great defense makes the defender so worried about him trailing the left side. He exposes the ball on the right side, which allows Grady to get a steal. Now, the reason I bring this play up is because Grady is going to get credit for his steal here, and Mobo did 98% of the work. Mobo does not get a steal here. They had to work together, but that's defense in a nutshell. Yeah, that's it for my impromptu little film session here. We got one caller in, WYSO. We'll bring you on. And to everybody who would like to call in, y'all, link is in the description. I will write it out when we're talking here. Let's get you WYSO. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Everything is great. How are you?
Sweet, not too bad. Good day for Toronto sports.
Shout out to the Blue Jays. Yep.
Yep. I think the Leafs won too. So a couple more underrated things, because like you said, I don't really want to touch on the obvious stuff like Ingram or the stuff that you and other people are going to be going in depth on this week.
Mm-hmm.
One underrated thing I noticed that really stood out to me this game, and I think it might have been something you had touched on when you were going into CMB's college tape, but it really stood out to me. I was so impressed by it today. Like, I don't know if I'd go as far as to call him like a really good playmaker per se, but his just connective passing is immaculate from what I've seen. Like, he is so good at connective passing.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, so playmaking for others comes down to your own scoring gravity, your ability to make reads, your own skill work, all of it,
Yeah.
right? And his skill work will get there. His scoring gravity will get there. He's proven time and time again he's willing to score. Now he's also showing me right now, based on Summer League and now the preseason, that he's willing to take shots. He's willing to take those 3-pointers that, you know, we're all hoping that he takes those 3-pointers, and he's taking them, right?
Yeah,
so
especially the open ones.
Absolutely. And no one is saying, like, you know, take contested fadeaway threes. Like, you take that, you might get parked onto the bench. But yeah, I really loved the shots that he took. I think he's a really high IQ basketball player. And the fact that he had 6 assists tonight, yeah, that tracks.
His passing is just so clean and fast. I love it. You can tell he doesn't have to think about it too long. It's like the moment he sees someone that looks like a good person to pass to, he just does it immediately, and it's fast and precise. And I was really impressed by that.
I even saw some stuff from like the scrimmage where it was like very instantaneous. Like, he gets it. There's no thinking. There's no processing. Interestingly enough, the 3 players that you're adding to your rotation to replace, you know, some of the players that you lost, Sandro, CMB, Brandon Ingram, none of them have a lag in their processing. It's all instantaneous. Yeah.
I noticed that with Mamu as well. His connected passing was great. And then with CMB, so you said he shouldn't be going for these like contested step back threes or whatever. You know, on the play that you just showed there of him, like I think he could have gone for an easy 3, and then he ended up driving right into Domas.
Right.
In that situation, do you think there's ever a point? Like, do you think it's a realistic expectation that he could have like a mid-range like pull-up bag? Like in that scenario, instead of trying to go for like the really difficult contested layup, like could you see him picking up the ball and doing like a midi?
I mean, yeah, he has good touch. I could see him developing maybe like a little bit of a baby hook.
Okay.
He's got so much strength to him already. And if teams are gonna put a guard or a smaller wing on him, like if you're going to put a slow-footed big, I think he's quick enough to be able to beat them off the dribble, like a super slow-footed big. Like like what he had against Jonas Valanciunas last game. He whooped his ass off the bounce, right? Right now, because he's not a shooter, it's going to be really hard for him to generate space on drives. So the threat of a pull-up mid-range shot is interesting, but teams don't typically allow players who aren't stars to take mid-range shots. So the only players on this team that are really greenlit to take mid-range shots, honestly, Scottie, Ingram, Grady. That's it. Like, those are the three guys that I see. Like, Darko's like, yes, mid-range, take it anytime you want. Everybody else kind of like drive, take open threes, right? So
yeah. Do you think Jacoby's on that list like one day?
He has the perfect old school game. Like, you're watching, a lot of Jacoby high school stuff last year. Watched a ton of him, at Link, and then he has a lot of that in his bag. Like, he should be able
like something he should be able to do. Yeah.
Yes, like he has enough shift and handle and change of pace, dribble. He's gotten so much stronger. It was really nice to see him have a good game.
Yeah. I agree. And then sorry, you can go to that comment. That's funny.
Which comment? Oh, we traded a Cowboy and a hockey player for Brandon Ingram. Dude, all day I was thinking, well, not all day, all game, I was thinking to myself, one first round pick. I kept thinking, like, one first round pick. I'm very, very excited that, like he is just a really good basketball player. I'm every day I pray for health for him, for Scottie, for this team, but yeah, I think he is so insanely talented, and it's possible that what Darko has done for Ingram and IQ, where he's just made them a better basketball player. He did it for Devin Booker. He did it for Desmond Bane. And I say this respectfully to Devin Booker. If we're talking raw talents here, Ingram is the most talented player he's ever coached in his life. Like, straight up, if we're talking max out the potential, this is the best he can ever be. Ingram's the most talented player he's ever coached.
You don't think he's reached his ceiling yet?
Well, I would like to think that Brandon Ingram has another step. I would like to think that the offense that Willie Green had him running in just wasn't that great. I would like to think that there are moments in Ingram's career from LA to New Orleans where it felt like it could turn into something else and just didn't become that. It could be partially due to him. It could be partially due to the roster around him. It could be due to, him not being happy in New Orleans. It could be Zion. It could be the Pelicans organization. It could be he just had a lot of injuries and it's just a lot of stop, go with him and just disrupts his rhythm. But yeah, like, there's definitely a lot left on the table. Like, many times I've watched Brandon Ingram and I'm like, why is he doing that decision? Like, why would he not move off the ball and then cut to the basket? Why isn't he getting to the rim instead of forcing this like awkward turnaround midi? And it's just like, you keep watching Brandon Ingram long enough and you're like, man, that quarter right there was superstar shit. That second quarter, he was totally invisible. The third quarter looked like an all-star. And the fourth quarter looked like a role player. Like, he has put together stretches of basketball in his career that would let you think that he could be an all-NBA player for sure.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
One other small thing I noticed, this is like really, we don't have to talk long about this one, but obviously everyone's been super impressed with Mamu's offensive game. Like, I have nothing bad to say at all about him on offense. On defense, I can definitely tell he's like a high intensity on ball guy. Like, he tries his best. I don't know about you, but I find him a little bit weak when it comes to like help defense in the paint. I notice a lot of drivers are getting past Mamu.
He's not a good defender when it comes to like low man stuff. Like, he's going to need a rim protector with him, and he's probably going to need some like solid help defenders with him. Like, I'm not saying like he's a bad defender. He's not a bad defender. Just like, yeah, but he's not a defensive unit by himself. Like, he's not going to. If he's your 8th best defender, 7th best defender on this roster, I think you're perfectly fine. He can participate in a team scheme. He's pretty switchable for, a guy his size. And he brings you so much value on offense. Like, I remind you that at one point we paid, I think it was Jalen McDaniels. We were paying Jalen McDaniels like, I think $5 million to play basketball for this team. We paid Aaron Baines $7 million. He is better than both of them. For sure. Anyways, any final thoughts, man?
Maybe this could probably be a whole video, but like, are you as concerned about quickly as I am before the real season starts.
I'm getting there real slow.
What's your quick fix? Do you think it's to trade him? Do you think it's to put him on the 2 guard?
I think it's to move him to the 2 for sure. I have 3 players in my starting lineup that I'd rather run my offense through than him. Yeah. And he's just a really good shooter. It's just that release is just, it's a little low. And I mean, I do appreciate that he is trying to get into the ball a little bit more defensively. And I'm sure he's going to have like a 20-point game at some point and we'll just all shut up about it. But yeah, he hasn't looked great in the last 2 games.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, man. Peace. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Matt, what's up?
Yo, what's up? How's it going?
It's going well.
All right, so I do have some questions for you. Just curious about your opinion.
Sure.
So, how do you feel about Ingram, Scottie, and RJ going forward? If you were to find a way to get like a stretch big and a floor general type point guard.
I don't think they need a stretch. Well, I think they need a stretch big. I don't know if they need a floor general type point guard because you got 3 players who can handle the basketball. So if your definition of a floor general point guard is like Mike Conley type, you know, if that's the mold that we're talking about, I don't think you need that. I think you need like a slashing guard who makes quick decisions and can shoot threes. Like in another world, if he played better defense, Zach LaVine, you know, Malik Monk, this type. And Emmanuel quickly should be able to do this. Like he should be able to slash. He should be able to just hit open threes. He should be able to get into the ball a little bit. He's done a lot of this stuff in New York. If he can go back to what he's doing in New York, I think he'd be a lot better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear that. So I have another one for you. If CMB was in the same draft as Scottie, let's say they just swap places, how do you think he would do on that Raptors team that Scottie came into? Do you think he would have a chance at Rookie of the Year, or do you think Scottie would show a lot more in his rookie year based on what they showed in college and in the fit?
If CMB was the 5th starter next to OG,
Yeah.
Pascal, that team,
Mhm.
I don't think he would win Rookie of the Year. No, I don't. I don't think he would win Rookie of the Year. I think he would be really good. I don't know if he would start. I don't know if Nurse would start him. Yeah, like I think people forget how good Rookie Scottie was. Like, he put up 32 points and 17 rebounds against LeBron and the Lakers. Like, he put up a damn near triple double in his first playoff game. Like, dude was a beast in his rookie season. Scottie's just a bigger athlete. He's more vertical. He's got a lot more pop and athleticism to his game. So I don't know. Sometimes Nurse was using Scottie at the 5. Can CMB play the 5 right now? I don't know. But I think he would be really good. Yeah, I think he'd be really good. I don't think he'd be as good as Scottie, though.
All right, yeah, that's all I have for you, man. Have a good night.
Have a good night, Matt. Yep. All right. If you would like to call in, like Matt and WYSO, here's the link for you. Man, it's nice to have Raptors basketball back. Even though we're in preseason, you know, even though we are in preseason, this was a decent game. I got to tell you, I walked away from this game thinking the Sacramento Kings are screwed so bad. That team sucks. I feel bad saying that. Should I feel bad saying that? The Sacramento Kings are they're so bad. Like it is the culmination. Okay, so basically for me, the Sacramento Kings are like the anti-Spurs, where the Spurs made every single decision that I wanted the Raptors to make. The Kings made every decision, apart from Maxi Moreno, that I did not want the Raptors to make. I did not want the Raptors to go the route of like an older player like Keegan Murray in the lottery. I did not want I did not want the Toronto Raptors to go after Nick, you know, in the Nick Clifford in this year's draft. I didn't want them to trade for someone like Levine or DeRozan or something like that. You know, I didn't want them to keep Schroder, and they just have all of them, right? They're trying to play this pressure ass defense, and I certainly don't want Domantas Sabonis. I have a lot of issues with a big who is that bad defensively. So, you know, it's going to be, we'll try to win with grace here, right? Obviously, I'm going to be on the panel tomorrow, 11 a.m. We're going to be talking preseason. Scottie Barnes did not play, so, you know, I will have nothing to talk about on that front. But I'm very curious to hear what Big Ox has to say about his take that Zach LaVine is better than Brandon Ingram. What? We just watched Zach LaVine play. We watched him play for years now. He is not better than Brandon Ingram. Like, let's just be real, man. I feel bad, man. I got a lot of friends in Sacramento. I got a lot of friends who, are Kings fans. Shout outs to Leo. Shout outs to Frank. I got friends in Cali who are big time Kings fans. Shout outs to my former self who was a Kings fan, supporting Peja and Blade and Chris Webber and that team. But man, yeah. Okay, let's respond to nice one said. Shout out to Leo, but fuck the Kings on God. I can tell you this, that Leo has turned into one of the biggest Sacramento Kings critics, period. Like, it's amazing to watch his transformation from, cockeyed optimist to what is effectively like a very, very, very bitter Kings fan right now. But that's what happens to you when your team trades for Zach LaVine to pair with DeMar DeRozan. Like, it's bad. Thought a strong wind was going to fly Scottie out like Candyman. What? Candyman references. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure that some people are going to take tonight to be like, hey, I guess the Raptors don't need Scottie Barnes. Cool, if that's what you feel. Or you can take it a different way, which is the way I'm choosing to take it, which is that your best player didn't play, your only center didn't play, and you destroyed an NBA team on the road. That's the best way to look at this, right? There's nothing that Ochai Agbaji and Jonathan Mobile are doing out there that Scottie and Jakob can't do 100 times better. So, in theory, what you did tonight should be replicable, but way better. Right? There's a lot of talent. Okay, we got Angel calling in. Angel, what's up? Hello? We have lost Angel. Okay. Scottie isn't the best fan, and I'm a Scottie fan. Okay, that's cool. Rashad Harris saying our best player. Well, that would be Scottie Barnes. I don't hate Yak, but there's more room to drive without him. Shrug. I mean, again, conceptually, he should help Emmanuel Quickley more than anybody. There's nobody on this roster who can help, right? And Sapphire Beat saying, would Orlando accept Suggs for IQ? No, they wouldn't, because they're trying to shed salary. And Suggs is the younger player. He is the higher draft pick, and he is the better player. So no, I don't think. Well, you know what? It's not really fair to say he's the better player. And in fact, maybe I have rejected this too quickly, because they could use his shooting. They really could. Corey Parsons saying, yeah, but we can't use preseason excuses. Scottie gets year 5. So here's the thing, Corey. The guy played 19 minutes of preseason basketball. He's clearly missing this game for a reason, because his hand is hurt from the scrimmage. If you're going to, like, there was a tweet that I had a couple of days ago where I was talking about why do fans have this behavior, and I'll expand on it for you in terms of why I think fans do this, and maybe it'll help some of the fans who do this stuff stop doing this stuff. There is a blueprint expectation of life, okay? A lot. When you have a certain experience in your life, let's just say, what is the closest thing that you have ever done to, I mean, assuming you're not a professional athlete, not an amateur athlete, what is the closest thing you've ever done to the consequence of Scottie Barnes playing a preseason game? It's probably a math test or a physics test or something of that sort, right? Now, preseason is preseason. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't count for wins and losses. It's about getting rhythm. You have a star player who's more than comfortable and, quite frankly, like more than selfless enough to get his other teammates going. He wants Ingram to feel comfortable. He wants Mamu to get touches. And so, he kind of didn't play a great game. Cool. But what does it mean? Why do we need to hone in on it? And I think it's probably because, and again, I say this, I've never met a well-adjusted Scottie hater. It's never happened in my entire life. I've seen a lot of wealthy Scottie haters. I've seen a lot of, highly employed Scottie haters, but I've never met a normal person who doesn't see the value of this guy's game, or find some sort of willingness to sort of some sort of joy of kind of ripping him apart and being like, he's not a good player. It's like, you not a good basketball analyst, right? So, that's just kind of what it is. So what I'm saying is, the closest thing you can probably gain in this situation is probably screwing up a math test, or screwing up something of that sort, like failing an LSAT or SAT, poor SAT score or something like that. And so this weird mentality of you need to do better, you're bringing shame onto me, or maybe it's just because you feel he needs to do better. I really don't get it. I really don't. This is preseason. We're talking about preseason. You know what I mean? It's such a weird thing. Even in a game where he doesn't play, he becomes a subject of so many comments like, oh, see, this is what happens when you don't play with Scottie. And y'all will be the same fucking idiots. I put this politely. You'll be the same fucking idiots who will hate this guy and burn his jersey in a year when he gets sick and tired of this shit and demands a trade out of here, and then goes on and becomes all NBA somewhere else. If you legitimately think he's ass, if you legitimately just think he's a bad basketball player, that's cool. That's cool. But then why are you expecting anything of him anyways? The bad basketball player scored 1 point in preseason. That makes sense. So why are you so vocal about it? You know what I mean? Am I a magnet for Scottie haters because I am a big Scottie fan and people just really want to get one up on me? I don't get it. Your team played well. Right? Even the Emmanuel Quickley stuff, it kind of grinds my gears a little bit. This constant need of oh my God, Jamal Shed is a rookie and he outplayed Emmanuel Quickley, blah, blah, blah. Are you happy that you have at least one point guard who knows what he's doing right now? Would you rather have zero so that you can feel better about Emmanuel Quickley? It's a misery thing. I don't understand why some people want to make sports so miserable. It's some real first world problem shit there, bro. Some real first world problem shit. Do you not have bigger problems in your life than worrying about whether or not your star player scored 1 point or 2 points or 3 points in a preseason game? Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. When he starts, when he averages 10 points per game for an entire, month in the regular season and you start losing games, then you can worry about it. For the most part, though, the analytics prove year over year over year over year, Scottie Barnes is a very, very good player. He's a very good player. He almost single-handedly lifted your defense last year from the bottom of the league without him to middle of the pack defense. That's some serious floor raising, right? The analytics are not lying. ESPN is not lying. The Toronto Raptors media is lying. That's another story for another day. My point is, on a game like this, enjoy the fact that Grady had a dynamite game. You invested a lottery pick in that guy. You should have some stake in Grady being a really good player. And I saw elements of it tonight. Again, it's the Kings. I don't take anything you do against the Kings too seriously, and it's also preseason. I'm not going to be the person that's going to come out last game and be like, guys, it's preseason. It doesn't matter. But then now when we win, it's going to be like, oh my God, look, we're a championship contender. This doesn't change anything. What it changes is CMB, Sandro Mamukelashvili, Brandon Ingram, the three guys who weren't here last year, look very, very good. Very good. 2 games in a row. All three of them look very good. Those are your additions. If the team that was last year, and think about this, the team last year, I think we can all quibble and argue, could have won 37 to 38 wins and maybe even pushed 40 to 42 if they were trying to win and Emmanuel Quickley played more games. So if that 41-ish win team adds 3 players as good as what we think Ingram, Mamu, and CMB can be, to replace the Orlando Robinsons, the Kelly Olynyk's, the Bruce Browns, the Davion Mitchells, all those guys. If you can replace those guys with these guys, you should be like a 48-win team. At which point, you will have a 48-win team. At which point, you'll have the playoffs. At which point, maybe you'll be proud to be a Raptor fan again. I am proud of this team regardless. I was proud last year. I remain proud right now. I remain proud when they lose, and it's not delusion. It's not delusion. It's not one of those like, those like super fans who are like, I support my team no matter what. No. I have shown you 100%. I do not support this team unconditionally no matter what. No, there are conditions. There are conditions. You must not be a bullshit, selfish basketball team. That is a condition. You must not play selfish basketball. That is a condition. I must buy into your process of offense. That is a prerequisite for my support because I'm not wasting my time. And if you're not going to do that shit, I'm going to rip it apart. So it's important to me to say that I believe in what the Raptors are doing from a process perspective. There's a reason why I made a video saying I think this team will make the playoffs. I think this is a 50-win team. When it clicks, if it clicks, it can be really good. And in order for it to click, your best defender is going to be very important. Now, if at the end of the year, Scottie ends up averaging 18 points per game and Ingram averaged 22, it doesn't mean anything. They're teammates. You don't have to pit them against each other. Because the cool thing about Brandon and Scottie is neither one of them feel that way. So if you feel that way, maybe that's a you problem, right? You don't need, like, the problem with bad teams, and we are in a really bad place as Raptor fans. I want to say 40% of our fan base came in 2019. 40%. Between 2018 and 2019, we got a lot of people. Those people came because they are front runners and they like to support winners, probably. Or because they heard about the Raptors and they were like, let me check out this basketball thing. Those two. Now, the front runners and, those types of people who just kind of wanted to feel good about their own lives by supporting a winning team are very frustrated that winning team is no longer winning because they feel like they've invested something in a product that is no longer providing them with the ego boost of, I'm a Raptor fan, my team is really good. So you're looking for things to nitpick. You want to tear things apart. You want to apply the fact that you've watched basketball for 4 to 5 years as you're some sort of expert on basketball. And you obviously see Scottie Barnes as a very big reason why the team has lost. Why? Is he the reason the team has lost? No. He just happened to be on a lot of losing teams. It's a really bad place as a fan base sometimes where after a big win, you take a step back because the people who take a step back become maligned and associated with losing. Barnes has been associated with a lot of losing in Toronto. He gained a lot of fanfare in his first year because he took a team that was losing and he participated in winning. And the next year, he took a lot of hate because he took a step back from the player that you started to invest in. So I think Scottie fans need to chill the hell out. He is going to be fine. I have no doubt in my mind that the guy who was up the entire game, if you were watching, cheering on his teammates, does not give a shit if Brandon Ingram or RJ Barrett or Emmanuel Quickley or Colin Murray-Boyle score more points than him. And you shouldn't either. You really shouldn't. What you should care about is if the team is winning, if the team is losing. He is more than capable of averaging 20 points per game. He is more than capable, in my opinion, of having a 15-point fourth quarter. He is more than capable of locking up any star you're thinking about. He is a great player. Scottie is an amazing basketball player. But hey, if you want to let one preseason game knock you off of 4 years of data, I think that says a lot more about you than it does about Scottie Barnes, huh? How about that? Bingo. This is it. The people who, Kyle was one of my favorite players through the entire We the North stuff, right? Like, I totally didn't turn on him at any point ever because I just respected so much what he did with the basketball. There would be games where Kyle would be like 2 for 12, 2 for 13, couldn't buy a shot. There were games where he was like 1 for 7, 2 for 8. And people would lose their minds. They're like, we're paying $30 million for this bum. The same people who are hating on Kyle have turned into Scottie haters, and it is so dumb. It is so dumb. And in both cases, it's like, yo, I respect people who learn from their mistakes. That's why I like Scottie Barnes so much. He learns from his mistakes. He doesn't make the same mistake over and over and over, right? That's what I liked about Kyle Lowry. But that's what I don't like about their haters is that how can you watch Kyle Lowry, call him the GOAT, and then shit on Scottie Barnes for basically being a 6'8", 6'9" Kyle Lowry? He does all the same stuff that Kyle does. It's everything to win. Sometimes the offense comes, sometimes it doesn't come. But unlike Kyle, he's averaged 17 points per game. Like, if you could have a 20-point per game, 6'9" Kyle Lowry who can guard 5 positions, like, you have a freaking all NBA player, man. All NBA. All NBA. And to me, you might think if we had Devin Booker instead of Scottie Barnes, we'd win more games. I guarantee you lose more games with Devin Booker than Scottie Barnes. And, you know, maybe I'm in the minority on that. I really don't care. I trust my basketball takes. Shout outs to Sean. Wrote me a little message encouraging me. There's a lot of people over the last couple of days that have written me messages regarding the interview with John McCall, regarding, you know, some of the stuff that's been happening on PC. And what I keep hearing from every person is just stick to your guns, man. Stick to your guns. You know what you're talking about. You work really hard to make sure that you present reasonable opinions. And at some point, it will be proven right. I was very, very pro Brandon Ingram trade when it happened. I minced no words about it. I was very happy with that trade. I was very happy with the Sandro Mamukelashvili signing. I think these two decisions are going to change your season. They are great additions. I have some concerns right now that I didn't have at the time of the trade with Emmanuel Quickly. I do have some concerns right now. That's me being honest, that maybe my initial hunch was one. I have issues with him right now, and I hope that he can figure it out. And in terms of like the overall roster, I feel good about this team. You know, you have a lot of plus decision makers. You have big wings. I like this, you know, Colin Murray-Boyles pick. The more we go into it, yeah, I'm always going to be known as the guy who wanted Carter Bryant. I don't care. You're not going to label me into a CMB denier or CMB hater because I wanted Carter Bryant. CMB very high on my board. He was 8th on my board. We picked him 9th. I consider that a win. So, yeah, that's where we're at, man. And you know what? Speaking of draft misses, what? Jim Wellington. Okay. Raptors HQ. Booker averaged 30 points on 55% shooting in the 2023 playoffs. Scottie is not doing that. Stop, man. So, you know, it's an interesting way to observe basketball, right? Like, that's how you see basketball. That's how you consume basketball. You probably thought, I'm going to assume that you probably thought, you know, scoring guards were way better than Kyle Lowry. You're probably one of those people, right? Who are just like, Brandon Jennings or Kyle Lowry? Brandon Jennings, of course. You consume basketball in a stupid way. It is not really for me to try to pull you off the cliff. It's just a really weird highlight culture way of consuming basketball. The game has been the game for as long as it's been around. It has always come down to how do the 5 players on the court beat the other 5 players on the court to score a basket. It's so simple. And from Russell right down to Chamberlain, right down to Magic, Bird, Michael, LeBron, Kobe, it doesn't matter. Duncan, Garnett, it's always been the same in that sense. It's 5 people work together to score. It's unfortunate, really, that the Toronto Raptors' great successes have come with so many isolation scorers. But in the glazing of isolation scorers, you know how many times in 2016 I had debates with people about Kyle Lowry being better than DeMar DeRozan? Now, y'all might think that you're on the right side of history right now, but I'll guarantee you I was in the minority at that point. Telling people that Kyle Lowry was better than DeMar DeRozan was blasphemous because of people like you, frankly. DeMar DeRozan scored 25 points per game. Kyle Lowry scored 8. That's what you sound like to me. You sound... That's what it is. Now, Devin Booker's a hell of a player. But if Devin Booker is who you think he is, why then pray tell, why did the Phoenix Suns have so few wins last year? With Bradley Beal, with Kevin Durant, with shooters off the bench, with some decent role players. Why is it that they're so bad? Right? DeMar is better, in my opinion. Just because I disagree doesn't make me stupid. Doesn't make you smart. Cool. Why are you in all caps right now? Like, you ain't smart, you fake intellectual. Why don't you call in, have a conversation with a fake intellectual? Feel like calling in and having a conversation with a fake intellectual? John Wall is better than Scottie and Lowry. I don't hate Steve Nash. I don't hate Steve Nash. I love Steve Nash. I think Steve Nash is an awesome player. I don't think he's better than Kobe Bryant. And I don't think that he is better than Shaquille O'Neal. And I do think that I resent the fact that he won MVPs because the league wanted to clean up their image after the Malice in the Palace. I don't like that. But yeah, man, call in. Stand on your nuts. You said he's super overrated. Yeah, he's the worst two-time MVP in league history. That's very overrated in my opinion. That doesn't mean I hate him. It also doesn't mean that he is not a great player. He is a fantastic player. And every time he won MVP, he was a top 6 player in the league. He's awesome. Bro, no one thinks that. Why are you just like, why don't you call in? Do you not have, you clearly have internet. You got a lot of energy for the chat. Why don't you call in? Like, give the people what they want, man. Anyways, it don't matter. Point being, I'm going to think what I think. The NBA is going to continue to value what I value. And you're going to continue screaming into a pillow because they don't give a shit what you think. Okay. Pro scouts are going to continue to value positional versatility. They're going to continue to value making your teammates better. They're going to continue to value rim attempts when you're on the court, turnover suppression. They're going to continue to value analytics. And you can continue to value hot sauce. Okay. You can continue to value your dribble package and your pounding of the dribble because you don't understand basketball. And the only way that you can understand basketball or consume basketball, frankly, is in a very, very silly way. That's it. If you think John Wall is better than Kyle Lowry, that's your prerogative. I think you could have a conversation about it. For sure, you can have a conversation about it. But if you think John Wall had a better career than than Kyle Lowry, I disagree. Who are you talking to? Your favorite player is Allen Iverson. Did he win yet? You shame Booker. Are you talking to me? Yo, you talking to me? My favorite player is not Allen Iverson. I love Allen Iverson, but he's not my favorite player. Phoenix plays Ed. Yes, you are objectively dumb if you think DeMar is even close to Kyle. Hey, man, you got cooked by Phoenix plays Ed. What makes DeRozan better other than he can score more and can't even hit three, play defense? But you call people not intellectually thinking. Well, I have never used the words not intellectually thinking and stupid because we disagree. We're not. No. See, like, we can have a polite disagreement. Like, I can disagree with someone. I mean, I'm assuming. Am I wrong in assuming that you have come here from Player's Choice? How many times have you seen me disagree with Chill? See me disagree with Chill a lot, right? I disagree with Mars very often. I disagree with Chill very often. I disagree with Jordan a lot. I don't think any of them are stupid. So I'm perfectly capable of disagreeing with someone without thinking they're dumb. Because in order to, if I couldn't do that, that would mean I think I'm always right. And I know I'm not always right. No, I think the way you look at basketball is stupid. You, specifically you. Just you. We're talking to you. Callie on top. There's no right or wrong way. Oh, snowflake. You little snowflake ass generation that taught you there's no such thing as a stupid question. There are stupid questions, my friend. See, here's the thing. There's a rule book of life that applies up until the age of about 10. And then there's a rule book of life that applies from like 10 to 17. And then there's a rule book that applies for the rest of your life. Okay? There's no stupid questions is a great piece of information for a 10-year-old. There's no wrong answers. Perfect for a 16-year-old. This is the cultivation of the development of the brain, right? We do all of this, right? We say this to kids. There's no such thing as a stupid question. So ask your question, Jimmy. I don't know what the fuck your name is, but Callie. Ask your question, Callie. Ask your question. If a 5-year-old came up to me and said, "Is Devin Booker better than Michael Jordan?" That's a great question. Because it's a 5-year-old. 5-year-old needs to ask that question. It's great. Let's answer that question. You never want to shut down a 5-year-old for asking a question. 5-year-old says, Rob, is Callie too stupid to drive? No. Well, we don't know if Callie's too stupid to drive or, too stupid to vote or too stupid to anything. So we will just, answer the question for the 5-year-old. We will answer that question. When you turn around 10, I feel like some questions become inappropriate, right? Like we start taking it a little bit like, I don't know, man. I don't know. 10-year-old asking that question, maybe, something wrong with that 10-year-old. But after 17, bet's off, bro. Bet is off. So you, to me, are stunted. You live in a world, or maybe you are, in fact, 8 years old. You could have fooled me with all the cap locks and shit. So at that point, we got Angel calling in again. Angel, what's up?
What up, bro? Can you hear me?
Yep. What's up?
Hey, man, I've been watching for like probably since the beginning of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's basketball. We can agree and disagree on anything, but I really respect the grind, man. Every time I open the YouTube app, you are streaming, you're live, a new video is out. So I got to give you your props on all of that, man. And you really got passion for the Raptors and basketball in general. So I just want to give you your flowers.
Appreciate you, man. Let me ask you a question. Is there any such thing as a stupid question? Not Donald Fagen. Did someone just ban Callie? I did not. Callie has been a source of relentless entertainment. I don't think Callie has been banned. Let me just check here. Nope. Doesn't seem like Callie has been banned at all. But let me try to put Callie in a timeout. I just put Callie in a timeout. So Callie is not banned. Anyways, to the question. Do you think there's such a thing as a stupid question?
I mean, realistically, yeah, for sure. But but
you want to give me an idea of like what's a stupid question? He asked me a stupid question. Like, what's a stupid question?
I mean, in terms of basketball or just
anything. What's a stupid question? I just want some examples so that in case Callie on top is out here, crying about being timed out, like I just want him to get some examples of a stupid question.
Shit, probably his. It sounds like.
Yeah. I don't know, man. So what'd you think of the game today?
Man, it looked good. Again, it was against Sac, so take it with a grain of salt, but we looked pretty good all around. Grady had a good game back. I was hurt to not see Scottie, but yeah. You want to see him redeem himself, even though it is preseason, but it was ugly last game.
Yeah. wasn't great. The offensive process wasn't great. Eviscerated him in the film breakdown. But he'll be fine, man. He'll be fine. Like, he's the least of my worries. Like, absolutely 100%. There's like nobody I'm worried about less on this team than him. And if there's a second player I'm not really that worried about, it's probably Jacoby. As a second player, I'm just like, I'm not worried about these two. Everybody else, I got questions. Brandon Ingram, so far, this has really been great. Great for me. You know, I'm absolutely impressed with how sharp he looks. Like, you got to think about it from his perspective. He hasn't hooped, and this dude loves hoop, and he has not hooped since December, like in a professional setting. Crazy to me. So he's letting off steam right now, and it's so easy for him, bro. It is so easy for him to score that I'm just like, okay, if we make a trade, maybe get a little bit more spacing, get Jakob in there to set some screens, it's going to be really, really easy for him to score. Yeah. Can't wait for him to start drawing like double teams, triple teams, you know, finding corner shooters and shit. It's going to be great. What do you think of Mamu so far?
Mamu, I mean, even before the season, you've seen him in the Eurobasket games, and with us, I think he's like that Derek White where they don't play the same, but in terms of he's that elite role player.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's already looking like he's played with us for so long. He moves the ball well. He can rebound. He can take the ball up the court. He can spread the floor. He can attack the closeout, make good reads with passing. I think he was the perfect fit to just get him out of nowhere like that. I think he's great. To be honest, I think he could already take I think Colin and Mamu could slowly take Magbo out of the rotation.
Yeah, I think they are going to take him out of the rotation. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's nice that you're like, I always believe, like, in terms of team construction, I like my third string to be full of specialists, right? Like a player that I can just put on for a very specific reason. Like Jamison Battle is a specialist to me, right?
Right.
Like, he's a guy, if I need a corner three and maybe one or two of my shooters are in trouble, that's the dude I'm going to go to, right? If I need some quick offense, I could probably go, you know, a little bit of microwave, punch off the bench, change a rhythm. I might be able to go to AJ Lawson. If I want a vertical lob threat and just a rim protector and someone who could just bang bodies and pick up fouls, I got Ulrich. If I want like a really switchable, disruptive point of attack defender, I got Mobo. And now if I want a ball hawk who can just make life really difficult and change the rhythm of the game, I got Chucky Hepburn. So it's just like, I like that all of these guys have like a role, you know, like something they can do that is specific to them, and they're just really good at that thing that they do. They're not complete basketball players, fine. You know, Mobo's got issues offensively and all that stuff, but they're not going to kill you. Like, it's not like Mobo is like a total zero on offense. He's still a good passer. He still runs quick in transition and all that stuff. He's, you know, if he can work on his screen setting, that'd be great. Medved with the crazy comment, Mamu is better than Hartenstein. Oh my God, come on now. No, he's definitely not better than Hartenstein, but you know, I really feel like he deserves a lot more respect than he got last year, and I loved what I saw from him in San Antonio last year.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's possible, you know, at 26, he might just be like peaking, you know, like he might just be like a late bloomer. Like, this is the 54th overall pick who is grinded. He's obviously a late bloomer from Seton Hall. Like, maybe we're just getting him for like the 2 to 3 best years of his life, you know?
It feels like it.
Yeah, he's going to be expensive.
Guys, it's not like they take advantage of guys with athleticism. It's more about the mental part of the game. So him getting there is only making it his game more sharp.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Any final thoughts, man?
Man, I'm just excited for the season, to be honest. Hopefully I'll have a couple more call-ins and have more of these conversations with you. I feel like I already have. I've watched this stuff going to sleep. I know you've said you've had those type of podcasts, that this been one of those for me. So hopefully we get to talk again in the future about some good Raptors ball.
All right, man. Peace. Thank you so much for calling in. Appreciate you.
No problem, brother. You have a good one.
Okay, so question that I saw, which is Reed Vega saying realistic trade package for Laurie. We've discussed it all off season. Now, there's a couple of former All-Stars that happen to be power forwards, and they both might be available in the coming months, right? Fallback hoops. Yo, Pen, how can I call in? You can call in using this link right here. So, in terms of like a package for either one of those two players, if it's Giannis, obviously the asking price is going to start at Scottie. You're not getting Giannis without Scottie, and you don't want to pair Scottie with Giannis. So if it is for Giannis and MLSC is like, you know what, we've had enough of the Scottie Barnes experience. We're gonna, opt for the more NBA ready guy right now. We believe in IQ. We believe in BI. We believe with Giannis that puts us into contender status for the next 3 years. Giannis will be happy. Greek community, and I will immediately become a Bucks fan. So cool. The other one, which is a lot more realistic and won't take Scottie, which is the Lauri Markkanen trade, which I think just synergistically would be great for this team. Lauri's a quick decision maker. Lauri's a decent passer. He's a decent driver as well. He's a movement shooter, and he doesn't need the ball all the time. And he is not a perfect basketball player by any means. He makes a tremendous amount of money. $42+ million. He's a long-term deal. So he's got like a lot of money, tied up. But yeah, it's interesting. Okay, we got Marko calling in. Marko, what's up?
Do you feel like Darko can make a case for Coach of the Year?
Yep.
Where do you see him finishing this year? If you think he's winning it, or
I could see him being first or second or third. I see him finishing top 3. He's a very well-liked, very well-regarded guy, and I think, he should be able to make a case for it. Yeah.
I'm assuming he's probably going to go up against Jamal Mosley, if I'm take a guess.
Yeah, maybe that. Could also be Ime Udoka if they're able to shore up, their Fredless offense. We'll see. Yeah. Medved saying Darko is the man. Yes, of course, man. I'm glad. Yeah, he's from Chachik, so I'm from Chachik, so I appreciate Darko for sure. Any final thoughts, Marko? I think we lost Marko. Let's go to Fallback Hoops. What's up?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's good? You muted.
Hello?
Yep. Hello? You muted yourself again. Okay,
Can you
you're
hear
good.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Now as we watching you from the panel, I'll say I appreciate like your insight is definitely like unique. And like since you've been on like Player's Choice, I definitely learned a lot, like in terms of like thinking about like basketball a different way. But I want to ask you like what's like because I'm into the NBA, but I don't know like all the teams in terms of like the 10th, 11th, 12th man, like you might do like rookies. So like in terms of the Raptors, what's like some people I should look out for this year? Like that might not be like super mainstream.
Jacoby Walter,
Okay.
Jamal Shed, Chucky Hepburn in the G League, probably. He's interesting. Ulrich Shamshi in the G League. He's going to be interesting, I think, for the Raptors. Grady could be interesting, I think, for the Raptors. But yeah, mainly Jacoby. Like I would like to. I'm curious to see if Jacoby going to take a sophomore jump. Yeah. What
All
team?
right.
What team do you support?
I might be called Glazer for this, but I'm a LeBron fan because like I've been watching since I was 9. So, but my favorite team probably is like, and like, if I had to pick a team, it's OKC. But like LeBron's my favorite player. But in terms of a team, probably OKC since like, but like not like currently. I've been liking them since like they had KD and Russ like 2013.
Oh, that's dope. That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, when did you think that they were going to win a championship? Did you think they were going to win a championship the whole way through last year?
I definitely coming into the season, I definitely thought it would be them in Boston, like entering the season. And then once Boston went down, like once Tatum went down, I thought OKC was the best team. I thought like they had a historic defense. They were the deepest team, most versatile. So, but I thought they were like 1-2 with Boston until Tatum got hurt, and I was like, yeah, OKC got it. But Indiana did like push them further than I thought. But I still thought OKC was gonna win.
I think the title window just opened for them, and I feel like they could bring. We've been having a new NBA champion every single year. I feel like this is the first team that I'm like confident that they could probably three-peat if they really want to. I think Nikola
Yeah.
Topic is going to be really good for them off the bench. I think Shea is just proven to me every year he's going to get better. So it'll be really interesting to see the season that they have. The West is competitive, but I feel like with Fred going down, one of the biggest threats to their ascension. How are you feeling about DeAndre Ayton in LA? I've had a lot of choice words about him in LA. I haven't been too kind to the man, but how do you feel about it? I'm assuming you're watching some of these games. How do you feel about him?
Yeah, definitely seen what you said about him on the panel. But I'm kind of with you. I'm probably a little lower on him than me, but I don't think he's like. I do think he's overrated still. I don't think he's like. I did hear you say he's worse than Yabusele. I'm not gonna. That was a little crazy, but I do get what you're saying. Like, I do think he's a little overrated. Like, he's not a top 20 center to me. Um, I do think like if he's motivated, I think his defense and effort, like that's a big thing. That I think he's still an upgrade over any center the Lakers had. So it's still an upgrade, but I'm really not high on him. Like, I think he's probably like the sixth best player on the team. But I mean, I'm a LeBron fan, but I'm realistic. I don't got the Lakers. Like, they're not a contender to me. I got them second round exit at best. I'm
Mm,
really not high on Ayton. I mean, he's gonna put up like the box score numbers, of course, like 17 and 10 or whatever.
right.
But I see him having an impact, like for
With
real.
with you being a LeBron fan, okay, so I want to ask you one question to sort of end this. But if you could pluck one player off the Raptors and just add him for a veterans minimum to the Lakers, let's just say, the Lakers cartel getting rich. Let's just say you can take one
Yeah.
player, conspire, circumvent the cap, Steve Ballmer style, and just get them for
Right.
free. What player would you take off this team?
Okay, I definitely think Scottie's the best player on the Raptors. But I'm also thinking like I feel like him and LeBron play style is a little redundant being like the slasher. So I'm like in terms of fit, I don't know what the defense. I'll still say Scottie because the fit's a little clunky. I think that his defense is so much better than Ingram, and that's one of the Lakers' biggest things. I would still say Scottie.
Yeah, I think Ingram would be really great for y'all personally. I mean, I would take Scotty too, obviously, but I'm the internet's greatest Scotty Glazer, so I feel like I might be biased on that one. But yeah, I mean, Emmanuel quickly would be interesting there too. It's like, you look at how good LeBron and Luca are at this stage, that the very fact that you look at the rest of that team, and you're like, they're gonna make the playoffs with Gabe Vincent. Damn.
Oh my
But
God.
Austin Reeves, LeBron, Luca, with LeBron now being like a 40% three-point shooter consistently, Scotty would be perfect for that team for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I did want to ask you though is like, is one about ask. I honestly I think he's an all-star level player. I think I'm higher on him than most. Probably not as much as you, but like that's what I want to ask. Like, what is it about Scotty that like you see? Like, I don't think you're like biased because I think you genuinely like if Scotty was on the Magic, you would feel the same. So like, what is it like that you think most people aren't seeing that you do? 'Cause I'm high on him, but like, what it makes you think he's like a top 15, 20 player?
I think it's like the impact on your teammates, right? Like the ability to guard five positions, play quick point five defense, offense, just great court mapping on both sides. He has all these intangible qualities that make him like this very good basketball player. And then the other part of it is just I know where the skill work is with him. You know what I mean? Like it's bad. Like it's like sometimes the handle's a little bit loose. I know the jump shot can be a little bit clunky at times. He's still working out some of those kinks. So it's like relative to expectations, when I watched him for the first time. I want to say he was like 14 years old. And, you see this player and you're like, man, this guy's got like a million things to add to his game. And he probably has added like 250 to 300,000 of them right now. But it's just like, shit, there's still 700,000 to go. Like, there's a long way to go. So with players like Amen, Asar, Scottie, AJ, players like this, those like sort of smart basketball players that have the long arms and like they're multi-positional and they got great motor. My only question is, do you work? That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. And he works really hard. So, I trust him to improve all the things that people think are like weaknesses in his game and stuff like that. But the stuff that you cannot teach is like the feel, the ability to see 2-3 plays ahead. I'm not saying it's quite on LeBron level, Hallie level. It's not that level, but it's there. Like he's going there. So I value high basketball IQ, man, and I love the ability to grow with him. Like he grew a lot as a leader last year. He grew a lot as a defender last year. He grew a lot as a jump shooter last year. The previous year he grew as a 3-point shooter. So it's just like, sure, if he ends up replicating last season 2 years from now, I'll be wrong and I'll admit I'm wrong. But if he keeps going the way I think he's going to go, I think the Raptors will have an all-NBA player for sure. Yeah. All right, man. Thanks a lot for calling in. Appreciate you. I see your comments sometimes in the PC chat. Appreciate you for showing love, man.
Like, I just asked, like, I don't know if you know. I think I was actually defending you in the comments the other day when y'all were talking about like the wear and tear, like what makes people get injured so much. Like, I definitely like. So I was about to ask, like, you seen in the comments, but yeah, but appreciate you though.
I did. I definitely saw it. Yeah. All right, man. Peace. Talk to you later. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Okay, we got Nile. Nile, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Rob?
What is good, man?
Not much, man. Just excited for the season. I want to see the Raptors, exceed expectations and get to the postseason and, make a run for it. That's for sure.
Absolutely. What did you think of tonight's game?
I thought it was a great effort. First off, I want to start off by saying I like how Brandon Ingram is coming along. I feel like overall, like just him kind of building up that chemistry and the flow with the team. You kind of see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
The one question I did have for you though is in terms of the fit with Scottie. I remember you last stream you were mentioning about how Scottie needs to be the ball handler and Brandon has to play off Scottie for it to really make sense and kind of synergistically flow correctly. I just wanted to understand kind of like your point of view and why you believe that that's how it's going to work.
Well, I know that's not how it's going to work. I don't think that's how it's going to work. That's how I would do it. If I were coaching this team, I would have Scottie be the first decision maker for the offense, right? Like the player who has the basketball in his hands and he's the one who makes the first read. Now that read might be to catch a slashing Ingram or a, pop up Ingram or a post up Ingram, whatever. But I want him making the first read. I have no problem if Ingram makes the first read in that situation. But I do want Ingram closing out a possession, which is to say, I want Ingram to be the guy who has the ball with the clock ticking down. And that, to me, that role went to the wrong guys a lot last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we just didn't have someone who can properly close possessions. And when you don't have players, who can close possessions well for you, I think you end up in a lot of like low percentage turnover type of shots. I also think Ingram has so much gravity off the ball that it will open up tons of driving angles for Scottie and RJ. So, yeah, I just, if RJ is going to continue hitting his threes because he's hit his threes the last couple games, it's obviously something he worked on a lot in the offseason. Maybe some of these concerns are going to be, alleviated. But if Scottie can't shoot, that's going to be a problem for this team, like a big one, because Ingram can shoot and Ingram is always guarded as a jump shooter. So the threat of a closeout as an off-ball player will always be there. What I don't want us to do is I don't want us to get into heliocentric Ingram basketball because it's very tempting when you have a player this talented to use them in the stupidest way possible. And the stupidest way possible will be to just hand Ingram the ball and say, go do everything for us. Right.
Yeah.
That's energy consuming, that's taxing, and I would much rather have him be and again, he could still average 25, 26 points. I think that's what people don't understand because they watch so much James Harden. That they're just like, oh, if you want him to score 30 or 25, he has to have the ball all the time. No, he doesn't have to have the ball all the time. In fact, giving him situations where you can manipulate the defense a little bit before he catches the ball will only make him that much more effective. And I think I kind of want to get away from what they did with him in New Orleans. And they did a lot of that shit with him in New Orleans. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely agree with you. I think you make very valid points. The one, I guess, counter I would say to that is, if you look back at the 2021-22 season, Scottie's
Mhm.
rookie year, he had Fred, he had Pascal. Those guys were predominantly, ball handlers. They're more dominant, ball handler players, and they had more of the possession. And Scottie was playing off of them per se. And I think
Mhm.
efficiency wise, he had a great year, which led to him being the rookie of the year. So I could definitely see where Darko's really like looking at the situation with the overall, possessions on the
Mhm.
team. Because if you really look at it in terms of, scoring ability and late game shot clock, scoring, getting a last minute bucket, I would
Right.
say Brandon Ingram is, better than, Fred or Pascal at that aspect of the game. I don't think he's a better
Fair.
player overall, but in
You don't
terms
you
of
don't
that,
think he's a better player overall than Fred?
no, I mean obviously Fred, he's a better player than Fred, but Pascal is questionable because you can see what Pascal was doing this past season and postseason in the playoffs. He was
Right.
the Eastern Conference, Finals MVP.
And what role
So
did Pascal have? The exact role that I'm saying Ingram should have. That's my point. If you make and these are not equivalent players. Pascal is a really, really good post player. Ingram, I think, is a more lethal advanced shooter. But
mhm.
if you consider this from the perspective of like, if we're gonna use Scottie a little bit more like Halliburton, where it's just like the quick hitters, the quick first decisions. Like we've seen Scottie play point. He's been really good at it too. We've seen a lot of point Scottie.
Yeah.
And I think if you can harness him a little bit like the Pacers have used Halliburton, if his pull up jump shooting can come around even a little bit, like there's a really, really valid case. Now you talk about efficiency and all that stuff. I want to show you something actually. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna pull this up.
Cool.
Again, I think people are getting a little bit lost with Brandon Ingram. Ingram's really talented, right? This is Ingram versus Scottie Barnes over the last 4 years. Okay. 4 years. Do you see those numbers on your screen?
Yeah, yeah, I see him.
Okay. So we're talking about a guy who shoots 47.7% from the field versus a guy who shoots 46.6% from the field. We're talking about a guy who is 51.9% effective field goal percentage versus 50.4. We are also talking about a guy who had a lower box plus minus than a rookie Scottie Barnes going into fourth year Scottie Barnes. There is no argument, in my opinion, that you can make that in terms of actual value on wins, Ingram has impacted the game more over the last 4 years than Scottie Barnes. If
Oh, for sure.
Does this surprise you as someone like, and again, I'm not arguing talent. I'm not arguing bag because there's a lot of players in the NBA who have smoother offensive games than Scottie Barnes. What I'm saying is for a player who is as skilled as Ingram, these numbers are shockingly bad, right? Like,
Yeah, but then you also have to, factor in.
consider this. Over the last 4
Yeah.
years, Scottie has shot 52.2% on his twos. That's a rookie to his fourth year as a zero level scorer, right?
Mhm.
52.2. Ingram has shot 51.4. How is it possible that a player who is clearly more talented than Scottie Barnes offensively is shooting worse from two than Scottie Barnes over the last 4 years? Do you have an
Is
answer for that question?
I really don't, but is that factoring in, shot volume, shot difficulty, things of that sort? Because coaching plays a factor. I would say Darko Rajakovic is a better coach than Willie Green, right? So you're
But
looking at
Scottie
different.
didn't just play under Darko Rajakovic. I think you're trying to fit your narrative into a box. And what I'm trying to say is that you have to factor in that there's no reason that a 0-level scorer should even be in a conversation in terms of impact analytics with a player as skilled as Ingram. So what I'm pointing to is that I don't think Ingram has been used properly. Now you can say shot difficulty, shot volume, all that stuff. Well, did Scottie get grace for his shot difficulty last year? He took a lot of contested twos. He took a lot of long threes. Did he get grace for his shot difficulty? No, he didn't. People ripped him and they said he shot 27% from three. So if we're gonna hold Scottie to that standard of efficiency, then we're going to have to talk about the very awkward conversation that super skilled Brandon Ingram shoots worse from two than 20 to 23-year-old Scottie Barnes.
So
like, you've
also,
watched Scottie Barnes, you see him play. He's not
I
just
do.
he's not just a run dunk athlete. He's not Derek Lively. He generates a lot of his offense. Even in that rookie season where you're saying he was like fourth or fifth option, he still
Yeah.
generated a ton of his own offense. What I'm saying is Ingram's career has been a waste so far. It's been wasted in Willie Green's system.
Oh
I'm
no, for
suggesting a
sure.
word. So we look at the numbers. Okay, this is what I want for Ingram. Okay, we see these numbers right here. Let's focus on per game because some people just hate per 100. So I'll just focus on per game. Over the last 4 years, which is his prime, by the way, 24 to 27 is the player's prime. 20 to 23, which is where Scottie's been, is not their prime. Okay, this is what the numbers I want for Ingram. 22 is fine. 22 points per game is fine. I would love 25, whatever. Free throw shooting, 84% is fine. 83.6, perfectly fine. 3-point percentage, I want that north of 40. He is a good enough shooter to not shoot below 36% is ridiculous. He is a good enough shooter. He has a large shooting pocket. There's no reason that number should be low. In terms of 2-point percentage, he's at 51.4. I want him close to 60. In order to do this, in order to morph Brandon Ingram into a far more efficient offensive player, I need to harness his talent into a more optimal role. We need to accept the truths about Scottie and Ingram as basketball players. They have limits. Ingram is not like the burstiest athlete. He is a really decent athlete, but he's not like quick twitch. He's not Anthony Edwards. He's not John Morant. You have to give him a running start sometimes. Pounding away possessions, dribbling the basketball because you're better at it than Scottie doesn't make the team better, right? RJ and Scottie can easily run point while Ingram plays off the ball. Ingram playing off the ball will make him less predictable. That's my whole thesis.
No, and I definitely understand your point. You make, like
Yeah.
I said earlier, you make very valid points. And again,
Yeah.
I'm not here saying that I don't see your point of view. I'm just kind of looking at it from like overall, like as a team environment of, kind of looking back to when the Raptors had some type of success, making the playoffs. That one year where we went and played Philly first round, Scottie gets hurt. To
Mhm.
me, how I saw the team, playing successfully was again through Scottie getting those, cross court pitches, catches the defender on a closeout, attacks the rim, uses his big strides, gets to the basket, gets fouled, dunks it, wide open spot up threes, hits it. Where Scottie gets into trouble is where he brings up the ball, he tries to set up a play. His man is guarding him, right? He tries to beat the guy. He uses his size, and he finds himself in a situation where he has to take an awkward shot or a difficult shot. Now, it could benefit us because now if he's passing the ball to Brandon Ingram, that's an open three. Brandon is a great shooter, and he could score off of that rotation as well. So I see your point. It could definitely work, but I also see the other side of the spectrum where, you know what I mean? Maybe what Darko has going on right now could be beneficial because we tried it last year with having Scottie bring up the ball. And again, he didn't have Brandon. And we dealt with a lot of issues with injuries and so on and so forth. But
Mhm.
ultimately, I just feel like, maybe we could switch it up, give it a shot, see how it works off in the beginning half of the season. I know we have a tough schedule to start the season, but overall, I think it's never too late to maybe go back to your method where you have Scottie bringing it up because we know he could do that, right? So maybe just switching it up is kind of beneficial in a way, is what I'm saying.
Did you watch Brandon Ingram at Duke?
I wouldn't say I watched him at Duke at all. He kind of came on my radar when he
Mm.
got drafted by the Lakers, and I kind
Yeah.
of just been
So
following his career from
he
then
was
on.
billed as a future Kevin Durant. Okay. He was billed
Mhm.
as a mega scorer, mega talent. I want you to look at your screen. These are what that player did as a rookie. He averaged 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 0.6 steals, 0.5 blocks, 40.2% from the field, 29.4% from three, 62% from the free throw line, 44.2% from effective field goal percentage. He had a negative 4.4 box plus minus and a negative 1.4 value over replacement. On the right side is Scottie Barnes as a rookie, the zero-level scorer out of Florida State who worked his ass off to become Rookie of the Year and beat out Kay Cunningham and Evan Mobley for Rookie of the Year. And as you say, carried the Raptors, or at least participated in the Raptors getting to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what would happen if the Lakers tried to use Brandon Ingram's rookie season as a barometer for how they should use him for the rest of his life? See my point? The last time the Raptors won, Scottie was a role player. I understand that there is a significant number of people in this country and in this fan base that believe, hey, the last time he was good, well, last time we were good, he had that role. And since he's had this other role, we've been bad. The difference here is that's not true, because he had a very prominent role when he became an all-star. And we were a close to 500 team during that stretch. It just so happens we trade OG Anunoby and things fall apart. I don't think the Raptors see Scottie Barnes as some sort of role player. I don't. But I think a lot of this fan base does. So I want the ball in Scottie's hands. I want him bringing the ball up the court as much as possible because he's your best decision maker. I want him to have the ball on quick steals. When he doesn't have the basketball, I want him to get the first touch down the court so that he can set the offense up. I think he's a very valuable player. And honestly, for the people who have watched Ingram as long as I have, I love Brandon Ingram. But please understand, Scottie Barnes was never supposed to be better than Brandon Ingram. And he's been way better than... He was better as a rookie than Ingram was as a rookie. He's been better the last 4 years than Ingram was. He's been healthier. I hope that Raptor fans will not turn on Ingram when he does not match the expectations of Kevin Durant. Okay? He's not Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant has never been... sorry, are you doing something with your audio? I'm hearing like a lot of weird feedback.
Sorry, do you hear? Is it clearing up or?
Yeah, it's fine now. Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyways, my point is like Brandon Ingram, Kevin Durant and Scottie Barnes have never been in efficiency talks ever. There's not one season of Kevin Durant's life where you can say, yeah, Scottie Barnes was more efficient from two than that guy. There's no 2-year stretch, 3-year stretch, 4 years, and there never will be. There never will be, because that's what Kevin Durant is that Ingram is not. And I'm not ripping Ingram. What I'm saying is, in order for Ingram to achieve his potential, which is ridiculous to say at 28, but it's true, he has to take on a role that he hasn't really had before in an offense. And what Lonzo did for Ingram in his 1 year, where I thought Ingram was great, which is with the Pelicans, where he became an all-star, I think Scottie can do the similar thing for him. Yeah. Anyways, that's my long and short of it. I hope some people who are listening to this sort of debate got something from it. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, for sure. And again, I appreciate your opinion. And again, I'm not here, trying to rain on Scottie's parade. Scottie's one of my favorite Raptors overall. I've been following his career since, like you said, Florida State. But the thing is, I just want him to be successful. And overall, like, based on the last couple of seasons, he's been getting a lot of, like you said, a lot of hate because of his shot diet, his efficiency. I just want him to go back to playing free, and not really having to focus on the critics, focus on having to be the next Kawhi. You know what I mean? Like, I just want him to, again, love basketball and show it on the court, because that's when I think Scottie's at his best, is when he's playing free. He's just rampaging on the court, grabbing rebounds, getting on up and down the court, blocking shots, dunks, hitting those threes. You know what I mean? Like, that's Scottie's game. He has that passion where it doesn't need to be limited to a specific kind of, you could say, role or position.
Yeah, it's always gonna be that way. It's interesting you said the Kawhi thing. I actually have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Rank the following players in terms of the number of points per game they scored in their first 4 seasons: Scottie Barnes, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Scottie Pippen. Sorry, Scottie Barnes, Scottie Pippen, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kawhi Leonard.
Okay, so I know Kawhi averaged like something around like 14 or 13. So I would say Scottie's first at 15.
Nope, Scottie has 17. First 4 years.
First 4 years. Oh, okay. I thought you said
Combined.
First year. Combined. Okay.
First 4
That-
years. So the first 4 years of Giannis, the first 4 years of Kawhi, which includes, you know, his ascension to like that includes his finals MVP. That includes all of it. Giannis's first 4 years. That includes an all-star season. Scottie Pippen's first 4 years and Scottie Barnes' first 4 years.
Okay. So I'm taking a shot here. I don't exactly know the figures, but I would say number one is Kawhi. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Number two would probably be Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
3, I would say Scottie Barnes, and then 4, Scottie Pippen.
Interesting. Okay. Well, let me just double check my numbers here before I tell you what actually happened here. Okay, so let me just check Scottie Pippen's first 4 years. So Scottie Pippen in his first 4 years averaged 14.2 points.
Mhm.
So he would be number 3 on this list. Kawhi Leonard averaged 12.9 points.
No way.
So he would be number 4. Giannis averaged 14.9 points. So he would be number 2. And Scottie Barnes has averaged 17 points. He would be number 1.
I should have known. It's a trick question.
It's not a trick question at all. It's not a trick question at all. The value that a player has given you, this player has given you, I think Scottie, if I had to estimate, if I give you a fair value on what he produced for a rookie contract, I think he outproduced his first contract by about 350%. He was 350% underpaid is what I'm saying all year. All 4 years, the first 4 years of his career. So if right now he ends up being fairly paid for 4 years, fans will rip him to shreds. I don't think fans fairly understand this guy because I don't think the media properly covers him. I think a lot of troll comments because his game may not be aesthetically pleasing or whatever, or maybe because people don't watch Kawhi. People didn't watch Kawhi when he was a second-year player. People didn't watch this. People are very impatient here. So yeah, I think, and I don't think any of those players were in a worse situation than Scottie Barnes. I don't. I think Kawhi was in a great situation, like playing off of Duncan, playing off of Manu, playing off of Tony. That's like Scottie Barnes' dream to play off those 3 guys.
No,
He would
for
love
sure.
to play in that situation. So yeah, I think respect is due for Scottie. I talk about him a lot precisely because I don't think people understand how good he is. And in a game where he didn't play, I didn't want to devote this much time talking about him, but I think fan base needs to wake up. Anyways, man, thank you for calling in. Appreciate you.
No worries. Thank you,
Peace.
Rob.
See ya. Bye. All right. Okay, I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Have a great one. We got almost 2 hours. That's great, man. I missed these. 2:40 in the morning up in here in Toronto, and the Raptors got a win. I'm very, very happy the Raptors won. And y'all have a blessed night. I want to let y'all know, first of all, big shout outs to our members. We're at 120 plus channel members. If you want to support this channel in a unique way, in a different way, please consider becoming a member of this channel. It doesn't cost a lot, and it goes a very long way to helping support this content and keeping it free. And here are your perks: Chatter, Baller, VIP. We got 9 VIP members. I want to give a quick shout out to our VIP members. They are Susan Garrett, Springer, Stanley WK, Pepperjack, Karen Hall, ApexGlassOn, Courtside 6, Disc Revered, and ESPNNeedsIKD. Thank you so much. Military Man. Pen, before you go, what are your predictions for the first 5 games of the season? I don't remember the first 5 games of the season, my man. I don't remember. I know we got Atlanta, game 1. I'm going to assume 2-3. 2-3 start. That's fair. Yeah. When's the next game? Friday. We got a game Friday. All right. Should have that Brandon Ingram film breakdown tomorrow or Friday, because tomorrow I'm going to be on the panel. Also, to all of you who would like to hear more about, basketball from me, definitely go check out the Mike Roach podcast. Actually, I should drop a link to that. Hang on one second. I'm going to do that for y'all. If you want to hear my thoughts on this team, my thoughts on Scottie, my thoughts on Darko, and a couple of my thoughts on life as well. The Mike Roach podcast is, we just did a video. It has 87. Hang on. So here it is. So we got that. And Sean saying, plug the Craft Sports video, bro. Everyone has to see that. Shout outs to you, Sean. So yes, also to the people out there, hang on one second. Let me see. Do I have the intro? Do I have it here? I mean, shit, I should. Oh no, it's on my hard drive. I apologize. Okay. There is a video with John McCall. He is the trainer for AJ DeBonsa, Tyra Stokes, Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, Asar Thompson, working out of California. And yeah, Medved saying, did you hear about Topic's injury? Surgery? I did not. I have to check in on that. That sucks, man. That's really tough. Really one of my favorite young players in the NBA. Really rooting for him, as I, I'm a little bit biased. I root for all Serbian basketball players, but I don't think I've ever rooted against a Serbian basketball player ever. In fact, the only Serbian player that I've ever been mad at was actually Jokic, believe it or not. Like, the only player I've ever been mad at was Jokic when he elbowed Scottie in the face. Is that real? Testicular contusion that requires a surgery? Shit. Contusion's okay. Anyways, I don't. Mo P saying, I went to chop with Mike Coach. You mean Mike Roach? I think it was testicular torsion. A nice one with the unironic response, nuts. Y'all, I don't know if you did that on purpose, but shout out to you. That was quite great. Wishing health to, obviously, Nicola, obviously wishing him good health. Okay, I'll talk to y'all later. Please hit like on this video on your way out. I will add timestamps at some point. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye. Sean saying, watching that video should humble many fans. The video and dialogue should be enough proof that there's so much more that an average fan doesn't even think of. I agree with that. And look, man, I'll say this and I'll leave it at this for anybody, who has some illusions about, this. I don't know more about basketball than Darko Rajakovic. I've said this 100 times and I'll say it 100 more times. There's nothing I'm going to do in my life that is probably going to bridge the gap between he and I in terms of understanding the game. I don't know more than Rick Carlisle. I don't know more than Larry Brown, right? But as that Brian Scalabrine thing goes, I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me. Well, when it comes to engaging in basketball talk, if you've ever found me to be a little bit condescending and stuff, it's because, yeah, like that's how I feel about it. I may not be a coach necessarily. Okay, fine. I don't have that credential. I'm a guy who talks about basketball on the internet, but it doesn't mean I don't study the game very deeply. It doesn't mean I didn't already have a great aptitude to learning the game prior. And it doesn't mean that, all opinions are equal when it comes to this stuff. No, some opinions are very well researched and some opinions are very ignorant. And, pretending that those two things are the same drives me insane. They're not the same. I have not trained a single NBA player. John has trained many NBA players. My thoughts on barefoot training and the pros and cons of barefoot training in that conversation don't hold water. He's not going to think, I'm not going to be like, yo, John, the barefoot training thing is kind of overrated. Like, it's so stupid, man. I haven't earned the right to have an opinion in that conversation, but I do have opinions within that conversation. And I'm happy to share them from my perspective, the opinions about gravity, the game, how it's changed, etc. And I think that that's great. It's the same thing with Brian, right? Like, if I'm talking to Brian, I talk to Brian quite often, but like, if I talk to Brian, there ain't nothing I'm going to tell him about training athletes. He's a former Division I basketball player who's trained tons of NBA players, trains people every single day. There's not a conversation we're going to have. It's just like I'm not going to have a conversation with Rick Carlisle about his ATO. It's just not going to happen. Okay, it's not going to happen. I'm not smart enough to have that conversation, and I'm smart enough to know that, right? So we have a world now where people go online and, think because they read a fucking Twitter thread or a Reddit article or a Reddit post, they can debate medicine with doctors, law with lawyers. No, you can't. No, you can't. Okay. So I earned this. I earned this. Man, I worked hard for it. I have played basketball, watched basketball for 30 plus years of my life. That is not with great attention. With great attention. I've put a lot of work into this game. I played the game. I've watched the game. I've broken down the game. I dissect the game. And I think to some extent, I'm benefiting from it tremendously because I have opportunities now to talk to players, talk to coaches, talk to, to you guys. I have an audience like this week. The humbling thought and the reality because of that, PC video on Tuesday is that over 150,000 people or 130,000 people are probably going to hear me talking about basketball at some point and talking a lot about basketball. That is a very humbling thought and a really, I take it graciously. So yeah, please don't take it the wrong way if I say like, this thing is stupid or whatever. Like, yeah, you're right. I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong, bro. I could definitely be wrong. But the odds of me being wrong and some random, sports reporter or someone who doesn't study the game like I do being right, even if that person is right, they will be right for the wrong reasons because they didn't do the work. I told y'all when I saw him in Summer League moving that I didn't think Elijah Martin was much. And again, it takes a long time to get to a point, like I remember, gosh, I remember I was like a 18 or 19-year-old kid and I was watching somebody do some stock analysis. Now, I would do the same work that this guy would do, but it would take me 100 times longer. Like I'd be studying and studying and studying. And he could take a look at 2 pages and just say, this company's worth it, or this company's not. And I was just so, first of all, my impulse when I was 18 was to call him lazy, right? And he corrected me very easily. And I was just like, it's lazy analysis, like you need to dig more. And he's like, no, you need to dig more. I don't need to dig more. I spent 30 years learning how to do this in 10 seconds. And that's a humbling thought. To be an expert is to be able to take a look at somebody for 2-3 possessions and to get a really good read on their game. The fact that I had to watch every single Carter Bryant game is me humbly admitting that I'm not that person right now. So right now, it's not that I'm a basketball genius. It's frankly that I am working 1,000 times harder than the people I'm debating with. And that could be on the panel. That could be on here. That could be in the comments, whatever. And when we approach that debate, some of the arrogance that you're going to get in that is me knowing that I have done the work and you haven't. That's it. Frank saying, hey, Pan, I can't sleep. Salute as always. Can't sleep. Count sheep. You know what's easier than counting sheep? Count the number of wins that the Sacramento Kings are going to have, bro. That is a really bad basketball team. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Enjoy. Have a great one. Thank you for this opportunity. Salute to the Toronto Raptors. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Ace Bailey? Did Ace ball out? Like I'm hearing like, he scored a lot of points. So I'll have to watch. I didn't watch the game, so I can't give you my thoughts. My thoughts overall on Ace Bailey are that he doesn't read the court well and that he's a, empty calories kind of guy. But military man saying, I feel like you're so close to popping off in the social media space. It's 3 and you've got like 259 viewers. That is true. That is true. But, I'm assuming half those viewers are asleep. All right. Good night, y'all. Peace.